All right, guys, we are live on LinkedIn. Hello, hello.
Beautiful, Kyler. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Obviously, there's some stresses before going live, but overall, I'm very good.
Sweet. Hi, Nick. How are you, cousin?
Hi, Tony. How you doing?
My brother from another grandmother. I think I think that's the tagline. Kyler, did you play our intro from last summer before this video where we were standing face to face?
You got it. You got it. If you're looking right now, it's a little bit delayed, but we played the intro clip to last year. You guys doing the podcast at Peel Pub. Really fun to meet you, Nick, and to hear what you have to say about sales, about marketing, about everything.
So you the DJ here, Kyler? Is that what's happening?
The DJ of content and live
On
podcasts.
the ones and twos, I love it.
Awesome. That's
Are we
awesome.
live now?
We are live right now. People are
Hey.
viewing us. They're seeing us. They're logging on. I'm just checking out some of the comments.
So, Kyler, this is the thing I wanted to stress too, because I sometimes when we do a live, there's comments happening and it's a bit overwhelming for you. But if you can, from time to time, check the comments if there's any questions, things like that. I have a question for Nick, first off. So, Nick, when we did that intro video last
Yeah.
summer that everyone saw, I'm 6'1", about 230, all right? And you're towering over me. How tall are you, and what's your weight now, and what's your top bench press?
You want what?
Yes, that's what I want. Right out there, live. You can't get out of this question.
6'3", 240, not as in good a shape as you. And my bench press, I don't know. It's been a while, buddy. I haven't done old school lifting in a while, so a lot of pull-ups still. A lot of pull-ups.
So 6'3", hey man, I would have thought you were 6'4", 6'5".
No, 6'3". Kyler, is there a way we can put like a poll and see which cousin that people think is more handsome? Is that possible?
I don't have that in the wheelhouse yet. Maybe for a part two, second interview, I can get that queued up for you guys, or do a post poll after this live stream for sure.
So
That might
Tony's
be
my
tough.
cousin. If you're watching this and you're like, "What's going on?" Tony's my cousin from Montreal, one of
Yeah.
my favorite people in the world, and I actually used to work with Simply PHP. So it's
Right.
a
You were our
pleasure.
first
to be
sales
here.
guy. You were our very first sales guy back in 2010. Back when
Wasn't in-
LinkedIn was just a business card, right?
Exactly. That's exactly. It's amazing how much it's changed and how much it's evolved.
That's awesome. Well, so glad you joined us, Nick. I wanted to do this live because let's get right to business. I wanted to do this live because you've been posting these little micro videos with sales advice and business development advice. And one of them was I believe the title was how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. And it set off so many alarms in my head. It made me right away after I saw the video change my LinkedIn profile. So that's why I said, you know what, I got to talk to Nick about this. So Kyler, do me a favor. Can we play the video for everyone now?
Yeah, for sure. I'll share my screen, and then we'll show Nick's video. It's about a 2-minute clip.
Nick, wait, before you do that, Nick, were you able to find Simply PHP's live and share it on your
Yeah,
profile?
if I've done it correctly, in theory, this is being shared to my
All right.
people.
And
All right, cool.
just from a technical standpoint, Nick, you may not be able to hear yourself, but the audience will. And that's
Sure.
what our goal is. Perfect.
And we have to be quiet during the video, right? So we'll wait for you to tell us that we can, and it's going to be hard for Nick and I to be quiet.
All right. So, move this out of the way.
That's a terrible thumbnail. Thanks for making it pretty.
Wow, it is.
All right. So, I'm going to play the video. And like I said before, you may not be able to hear it, but you'll be able to see it.
Okay, today we're talking about LinkedIn profile optimization. This is a good one because a lot of people out there, your LinkedIn profile looks more like a fast food drive-through menu. There's too many options. I can't decide what I want. Your LinkedIn profile can and should be fluid. So if you're looking for a job, it's going to serve a different function than if you're selling a service, but that's a conversation for another day. Today, I'm talking to my service sellers. What's up? I hop on and off calls all day. And before every single call, I pull up your LinkedIn profile. Ideally, I'd like to have a few minutes, but the reality is often if I'm booked back to back, I might have 15 seconds. So here's my question. What's your LinkedIn profile going to tell me you do in 15 seconds? What do you want me to know about you if I have a brief snapshot? Because versatility is fantastic in business, but not in a LinkedIn profile. Your profile should say, I do this. I think sometimes we get focused on keywords and trying to come up in people's searches, but hey, you've actually got a live one here, and I'm not really sure what you do. Are you selling me chicken nuggets? Are you selling me burgers, deep fried tacos? I don't know. What do you specialize in? If your headline says, I shear sheep, got it, you're in the wool business. But if your profile says, I'm the senior director of livestock fiber removal slash author slash podcaster slash chief bottle washer, it's like, what? Look, there's a lot of vocations out there, and I fully acknowledge I am painting with a broad brush right now. But my point is, what do you want me to know about you in seconds? And your LinkedIn profile should absolutely match that. And if it doesn't, how are you lining me up to buy your service? What do you specialize in? Because the best restaurants have one or two things on the menu, not a dollar menu, right? Tell me I'm wrong. Fight me on this.
And that's the video, guys.
All right, awesome. So if you can stop, I think you can stop sharing your screen. Oh, I lost you there. Here we go. All right, so that spoke to me so much because I'm, as you know, as a business development guy here at Simply PHP, I'm often looking at people's LinkedIn profiles, trying to, because that's part of the training, right, Nick? Whenever you're going to call a prospect or a lead, you need to know a little bit about them. So I'm often viewing LinkedIn profiles, and sometimes what do you call it? Is it the featured line?
Headline? The headline?
The headline, yeah. Sometimes the headline is like a massive paragraph that it's not that I don't have time to read it, but it's hard to read it in this day and age. So what you said really spoke to me. So can you tell me, how you came up with this, and tell me what type of advice, because I changed my LinkedIn profile right away. I could tell you a little bit after what it was and what I changed it to, but go ahead and talk about this little video.
So the first thing I want to stress is I'm not an expert on this. There are people way smarter than me that I talk to on a regular basis who have kind of told me what to do. And it was actually a great guy named Kent Van Ho from Alpha Coast. And, he took me through optimizing my LinkedIn profile. And LinkedIn is a place I've used forever. So, I thought, well, my information's there and it flows, right? But when he optimized it, and then when I kind of went out into the world with that, the first thing I realized was that, okay, I look at people's LinkedIn profile all day, but I go from meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting. I mean, Tony, last Friday, you and I were joking, but I sent you a screen cap of I had like 20 meetings on a Friday, right?
Yeah, that was brutal.
So we
We're good.
yeah, listen, it's good. It's good. Consulting is good. We like to think, like we like to daydream that people are going to take 3, 4, 10 minutes and get deep into our profile. The reality is, first off, when you pop up in my meeting, there's a chance I'm like, oh, wait a minute, who am I talking to? Who's Tony, right? Yeah. So the first thing I do is pull up the LinkedIn profile, and I always do it. I always have that browser open. But how much time do I really have? And it's like 15 seconds. So as a salesperson, as a salesman, what are you going to tell me about what you're selling in 15 seconds? Because that's all the amount of time I have, and that's kind of where that spawned from.
Yeah, that's so true and so important. A lot of times, like you said, you have the kind of ego that you think people research you. When you say a little line, you think that people know exactly what you're talking about. For example, I'm going to take one of Nick's moves. What am I looking at today, right? So before I saw your video, I had on my LinkedIn, proud father, veteran, business owner. I treat people fairly so I can sleep at night. That's what I thought. That's what I can hear you talking, Kyler. That's what I thought that I needed to put out there, and people would understand what I do, what I'm all about. because I was being a little bit arrogant, thinking that they were also going to be surfing where I worked and all of those things. So after watching your video, I immediately went back to LinkedIn and I changed it to, we provide PHP development services. How's that for an elevator pitch? Question mark. That's so. Am I good? Am I right?
That's fantastic. That's right, because it's in a nutshell, right? And I talk to people all day. People are telling me about their business, and the first thing I say is, okay, you have 10 seconds. Tell me what you do. And they're lost. They're caught off guard. They're not expecting it, but you kind of need to have a 10-second explanation, a 45-second, a 3-minute, and a 30-minute, right? Those are kind of the tiers, at least that I tend to see out there in terms of how much time you have.
If you're looking, sorry to interrupt you, Nick, but if you're looking for a job, so a lot of like I think we have over 9,000 followers on LinkedIn, and a big majority of them are developers. So if you're actually looking for a job, isn't what you write on LinkedIn that magic sentence even more important?
So interesting, you're talking about developers. So let's talk about and I know just a smidge about development from working with you guys. That's a little bit different in my mind. How I would lay that out as a headline is developer, and then I would put PHP, JavaScript, whatever you're an expert in, because when I see people looking for developers, those are the key words. But that's kind of a really unique, different kind of job. And I said in that video, your LinkedIn profile should be fluid. If you're looking for a job, it serves one purpose. If you're looking to sell a service, it should have a different purpose. And with all that said, saying, veteran and father and all those things that are true about you, Tony, you can put that in the about section. But the reality is in that 15 seconds, I'm seeing your picture, I'm seeing your background picture, I'm seeing your headline, I'm seeing your city, and I'm seeing how many connections you have. And that's what I'm processing in that amount of time.
Nice. Kyler, and by the way, if anyone's tuning in, Kyler, keep your eye in the comments if anyone wants Nick to take a quick look at their profile. Anyone who's no pressure.
we have one person so far that said they'd be happy to. So far.
Okay.
So
great. We also have is it Adrian Burden from yesterday? Okay. So let's put up Adrian. Adrian's actually an awesome guy from British Columbia. We worked. He was working at a large company a couple of years ago, and we worked with him, and we kept in touch on LinkedIn. Great guy. So can you put his profile on the screen there?
For sure.
Right.
Wow, thanks for lobbing me a softball. Wish I knew we were doing this.
I told you, man, this is all just, improv. Oh, can you see his profile though?
I can't see Kyler's screen.
Yeah, Kyler, when you share your screen, it gets like super narrow.
What do you see on my screen right now? You don't see Adrian's profile?
No, we just see like a little narrow rectangle.
Do you see
let's do
Google?
This. Maybe you can chat it to Nick. So stop sharing your screen, chat it to Nick maybe.
Okay.
And he can take a look. I don't know if the viewers can see your screen though. Maybe
the viewers can see the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So put Adrian's profile back on there.
Okay.
And Nick, Kyler will chat you a link to Adrian's profile, and you're not connected to him.
Oh, now I see it. Now
we see it. Perfect.
Okay.
Excellent. So there's my man, Adrian. See his tagline. He has technologist. So that to me doesn't mean much, right? So along the lines of the conversation,
Right. So if I see this, first off, he's got a nice picture of himself. The background's great. Depending on what you do want to adjust that background though, right? Like if you're speaking to groups of people, if you're coaching or if you're training, it'd be great to have a picture of you actually doing that behind there. And then technologist, that is a very broad brush that you're going to paint with, right? So let me ask you, Tony, what is Adrian? Is Adrian a developer?
Adrian is, I believe, a CTO or a CIO type. So we worked together when he was with Group Health Benefits, and he was a head honcho. I think he was a CTO. I believe that he just started a new gig. I won't say where or anything like that, but yeah, CIO, CTO, senior account manager type.
So if you're anywhere in the C-suite, if you're a CIO, CTO, you want to lead with that, right? I was talking to someone the other day, super nice guy, and he led with MBA, right? And if you have an MBA, that's amazing, and that is something I would highlight in there. He was also he had training with Six Sigma. He was a black belt in Six Sigma. That's also really valuable for what he was doing, but he didn't have it. Didn't start with what he did, right? So it's
Yeah,
great that you have an MBA. Awesome. It's great that you're Six Sigma. You're telling me that you're bright and you're focused and you're great at going through levels of education. So I'm going to make assumptions off of that, and that's amazing stuff to have in there. But what do you do first? So if I'm a CTO, I'm putting CTO, right? And again, the beautiful thing is now you'll notice here Adrian doesn't have the about section filled out, or if he does, slide down for me. So I see his activity, I see his experience. Um,
I don't think there's an about us section. I can't find one.
so
I'm also not connected with him, so I don't know if that's another reason. But
so you still would be able to see that, right? You'd be able to see the about section, and the about section is again where you can get into a bit more detail. But you also want to show that you're, an expert or a leader in your field. And so what I have in there, and I don't have it exactly if you pull me up, but it's something along the lines of, here's what my clients are looking for. Here's what they tried before I started working with them. Here's where they are now, right? Real quick snapshots of what you're doing and why I want to have a conversation with you. So if Adrian were to pop up and I'm about to jump on the call with Adrian and I see technologists, now I'm furiously scrolling through, and again, I have 15 seconds, but I'm trying to make sure that I know who he is and what we're about to discuss.
yeah,
What I will tell you though, this is another thing that I use just talking. I did another video about this a couple weeks ago about where people are from and building rapport and engagement quickly.
hmm
So, I live in Arizona, but I grew up in Canada. So the first thing I'm going to see, or one of the first things, is he's in Surrey, which is a suburb of Vancouver. So the first thing I'm going to lead into the conversation with is, Adrian, how are you? I see that you're in Surrey, right? And then I'll start going into either history I have with Vancouver or what a beautiful city it is or wherever I kind of want to lead with that. But building that rapport is something you want to do real quick. And those are all the things that I'm trying to snapshot again in that 15 seconds.
yeah. That's a great point, Nick. And we'll probably do a video, a live next week or the week after, just on rapport, on how you build rapport.
I'm going to be a regular now.
You're
Okay.
going to be a regular, yeah. Yeah. You can't have the handsome cam though. That belongs to me. It's a special trademark. But yeah, you know what, I see what you mean, and I fall into the same challenge, and I can confirm because I am connected with Adrian. I can confirm that there is no about us. So just to clarify, what would you? So you would have a very brass tacks, very simple sentence that describes. So instead of having technologists, you would have like I led teams of 20 developers or something like that. And then that's question one. And then from there, what would you actually put in the about us? Because that's obviously something that Adrian can add.
So let's do this, Kyler. Can you pull up my profile?
yep,
Okay. But just to answer your questions as he's doing that, Tony, if you're ever in the C-suite, you want to lead with that. If you have received a paycheck as a CTO, COO, whatever, Chief Revenue Officer, you
Yeah.
want those three letters are key. Then if you have an MBA, you want to throw that in there because if I have time and I see you have an MBA, I'm going to scroll through. Where did they get the MBA from? Is it from Thunderbird in Arizona? Is
Oh,
it from? Sorry.
but does that go beside your name instead, like Nick Capozzi, comma MBA, or is
So
it?
no, so Nick Capozzi, I don't have an MBA. I want to stress,
Yeah.
but if you have it, okay. So sorry, I'm sticking with the C-suite, Tony. I'm on that train. I apologize.
Okay.
So I would be CTO, then MBA, and where you see my company name, sales pitching. There's a way to put your education up there, so that if you went to Thunderbird or if you went to the John Molson Business School, because then it's also, what's the MBA in? Is it in global management or is it in technology, right?
Mhm.
So it just helps to flow the conversation. So, and part of how this all happened to me, guys, is when I first started, selling my services online, I'd say, okay, I've done everything in sales and marketing. It was a one slide presentation. Here's 20 things in sales and marketing. What do you want to talk about for the next half an hour? Because in my mind, I'm getting right to the pain point. But the problem is that I was viewed as a generalist as opposed to someone who had this unique background. And, you guys know this, but if you're listening, I was a pitch presenter in the cruise industry for a long time. So people talk about lead generation, and that's critical. And people talk about closing, and that's critical. But not a lot of people talk about the pitching and the presenting. So, what I do is I rebuild your sales pitch and teach your team to deliver it. So that's how in, 10, 11, 12 words,
Love
someone
that.
can get a capture of what I do. Now,
Yeah.
the reality is, and this is really important, this is to get you in the door. Once you're in the door, then we can talk about the 20 potential pain points you have and zero in. But I have to think like a marketer and pull in something that is relevant. So just real quick here, I'll just take you guys through this so you can see, so there's a picture of me in a suit, which is key, right? There's the picture of me presenting in front of, training a live audience because it's relevant to what
Nice.
I do.
Yeah.
Then you've got the about section. So you don't have to click through it, but just to show you guys in there, this is where you can get a little bit deeper. And this is, for me, I've targeted and I've said, our clients came to us when, they've already tried, and within a couple of weeks, here's where we got, right? And you'll even see, I put in all caps, I work with business owners who are visionary leaders and technical geniuses, but have become the de facto head of business development and sales. And the reason for that is a lot of who I work with is solopreneurs or people who, might have a 10, 20, 30 person team. And a lot of times the founder or the owner is the technical person, like the technical luminary, or they're the operator, right? But they do become the de facto salesperson or head of business development. So how do you take someone who's so knowledgeable, but then turn that into an engaging conversation? And then, sorry, go ahead, Tony.
It's almost like often you go to a company's website and you can read for 10 or 15 minutes, not seconds, minutes, and still not be sure about what they do. So is it kind of, and that happened to me the other day, and I even told my prospect, I said, can you tell me what you do? Because I didn't want to be mean, but I was on your website and I still don't know what you do. So is it sort of like that? So LinkedIn, that sentence is boom. This is what I do. I'm not beating around the bush. This is exactly what I do. Like you said, I rebuild your sales pitch and teach your team how to deliver it. There's no gray area there. But in the about us is where you get a little bit more detail. Is that accurate?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I don't want to get into, I won't get into all the details, but it's, when I talk about someone in their pitch, how do you distill your life's work into 45 seconds?
Yeah.
Right. How do you do that? So I'll just show you a couple more things here. If you slide down a little bit to the featured section there, Kyler. So what this is, I'm putting a lot of content on LinkedIn, particularly with video. And I'm going to tell you guys, it's you guys and all the content you've been putting out for the last 18 months, which has inspired me and given me a different take on how I'm approaching it. But this is where if you have, stuff that's been published or you're posting, you want to put your best things in the featured section.
Okay. And these lead us to either documents or YouTube videos, correct?
It could be any of those. It could be a link, it could be a PowerPoint, it could be whatever's living online, or you could literally just pull a document up.
Could it be a testimonial? So let's say you're a developer that's a freelancer, and you've got some testimonials from clients. Does that make sense to upload them there?
100%. If you can get a video testimonial, that's fantastic, right? So
Yeah,
even if it's
great.
even if it's you're having a conversation on a Zoom with someone, and people get so worried about the quality of the video. I mean, my whole studio here is like a $400 setup. I shoot on a webcam, and I'm editing an iMovie, right? So believe it or not. But so that's a great play. If you take a Zoom meeting and then you just cut down the 45 seconds where, Kyler is saying something great about Tom, then that's a perfect opportunity where you splice a couple together. For you guys in technology, this is a great place to put your GitHub. I don't know if GitHub is still a thing, but let's assume it is.
It is.
Whatever you want in anything that points to what you've done, and especially too, again, with developers, I want to know, did you take a course in JavaScript? Did you take a course in this? What do you know, right?
I think it might take someone a day to piece this all together and to get that featured content there. But honestly, I can say from experience that closes deals. So if you are someone who's trying to sell your services and you have people providing you with testimonials, providing you with video testimonials,
yeah,
as a freelance developer, and again, I'm mentioning it because we have over 9,000 followers on our page. I think a lot of them are developers. As a freelance independent developer, to me, that's gold.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the day, content is king. You guys have proved it, and like I said, it's watching you guys where I'm like, okay, let's do more of this. You can take me down, Kyler. We don't need to look at me anymore.
Can we wait? Is there before Kyler? And again, I can't see any comments. Is there any comments, any questions, or anything like that? I don't want to be rude.
Yeah, quite a few actually. We have a couple requests for reviewing of their profiles. Do you want me to pick one and we'll review it? Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
This
if
was
Nick doesn't mind, Nick, you don't mind?
I'm so happy I'm just happy to hang out with you guys.
All right.
This was the first comment, so I'm going to respect, he was on here early and he got in, so this is the first comment to review his profile. So yeah.
Ahmed, my man from Egypt. Okay.
So look, this is a great example, Ahmed, senior full stack developer. I know right away what you are. Senior full stack developer. Perfect. Your location's there, your connections. You see, if you stop for a second, you see his schools are there, Tony, the Tanta University and
nice. Yeah.
Right. So that's where, again, if you've gone to the trouble of having an MBA, that's something you want to highlight, right?
Ahmed has game.
Yeah, he does. Ahmed, this looks great, buddy. But here's the thing. It can be this simple, right? And I said it in the video, and it was a little tongue in cheek because you guys have a podcast, and I talk to a lot of people who have books. But I'm like, if you're blah 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 / author / podcaster / chief bottle washer / veteran / proud father /
yeah.
Right. So Ahmed, senior full stack developer. I love it. Slide down a little bit.
What about before you go down though? How about his cover photo? Should he have some something other than the galaxy?
So the only thing I would suggest there, Ahmed, is if you had something with like a button-down shirt or a collar, just something that's now. Look, tech is a bit different. I understand tech is t-shirts and flip-flops, right? At least here in Arizona. So I know it's a bit more casual, but still, I would rather overshoot, with how I'm dressed. And then look, I mean, how do you not love the picture of the universe? And normally it's not something that would pull me in, but we're talking about development, and I'm thinking technology. I'm thinking, technology in the future and what a great space it is. So that actually works. But like I said, if it was even this is what you could do with something for, technologists. It's my new word now, thanks to Adrian. But if you had a picture, Ahmed, of you in the top part, sitting at your computer, if you're in like a cool office space like what Tony has behind him at Simply PHP, even if you got your earbuds in and you're like actively coding, right? That would work there as well. So yeah, but it's and he's a handsome guy. He's got a smile. So many times I look at people's pictures, they're not smiling, right? Give me a little bit of teeth here.
I think also what's important maybe to mention, Nick, is that often the people who are searching for resources, so the C-level executive that's going to be looking for people like Ahmed is not necessarily technical, right? By the way, normally the higher you get, the less technical the people are, the more people like myself and yourself. So yeah, nice, even though it is the web, and I might get crucified for saying this, but a nice shirt with a collar will make you stand out with someone like me. Anyway, just saying.
and that's it too, right? And that's why I'm trying. It's a fine line between the hip casualness of technology, but then also, you know, who at the end of the day is hiring you, whether it's for a job or whether it's as a consultant or a contract, right? Because now I'm seeing in his about here, I've done projects for clients in the USA and Germany. So, you know, I'm assuming he's freelancing.
Mhm.
And I like here, and this is not something I would normally go with, but I'm trying to vibe off Ahmed's profile. I love astronomy and I have a telescope to go to the quiet place and watching the moon and the planets.
Ah,
Also, I love troubleshooting anything that stops working or not working properly in my house or my car. So it's great. And the only thing I would do is, okay, he goes into also, I love troubleshooting code, right?
mhm.
Like, how do you tie, Ahmed, your love of astronomy, which is great. Not a lot of people are talking about that, and it makes sense, and it makes you different. It's a unique selling proposition. How do you tie in that to code, right? And just back to the top, I'm a full stack developer with 7 years of full-time work experience. I currently work mostly with PHP in Laravel framework, as well as Shopware, Drupal, and WordPress. Got it. That's everything. So the keywords are there when people are searching for you. When they're searching for full stack developer, under featured, it looks like he has a resume.
This is very solid, man. This is a really solid LinkedIn profile. I love that. I see he's a member of the PHP community, right?
Yep.
I'm a member of that group too, so it's really solid. And he
No,
has,
this is, I mean, listen, you're putting me on the spot, so I'm trying to poke holes, but it's a good, it's a definitely a good start, you know, and the reality is it's probably better than 9 out of 10 I see on a daily basis, right?
yeah, very good.
Do you want me to move on to another one? We got a lot of people actually
Yeah, let's go.
commenting, and
Yeah,
so
if you
let's
have the
move
time,
forward.
Nick, let's do it.
Excuse me.
Ah, Guillaume
Hey,
Langier.
Guillaume, comment ça va, Guillaume?
Ah, il vient de Montréal. Yes. Wow.
Okay,
I'm
so
impressed at first.
lot of things I love here. Okay, first of all, it's a great picture. It's a little bit more suited up, but still the vibe of, you know, hip, cool code. This is really important too. So if Guillaume, you know, we're talking as a couple of Montreal guys here, um, but if I'm an American, right, as I am now, and I'm looking at Guillaume Langelier, the fact he has the little icon with the speaker of how to pronounce his name, that's huge. Okay, that's a big deal, because that way, if I'm calling him, I'm not embarrassed to say, I apologize. How do I pronounce your first name?
Yeah.
Right? Because as an Anglo speaker in an Anglo location, I might look at Guillaume and say, is it Guillaume? Me?
It's true for us in Montreal. You know, Guillaume is like John or David, but in the United States, if Guillaume is targeting the United States, then it's awesome that he has that speaker there.
And I'm not gonna swear, but I flip and love. Let's code the world of tomorrow together. That's really smart, and I like that a lot. That makes a lot of sense to me. Um,
Cool.
yeah, again, another good one. You know what it might be too is you guys maybe in the developer world, they're just because they spend more time in the online space, they're more aware. But so far we're 2 for 2.
Can we
Scroll.
scroll down? Can we scroll down a little bit on Guillaume?
So web integrator. You know, I see that he taught IT, so that's good. So if I needed someone to be a team leader, that's a very good thing he's got on there. So here's something I'm going to throw out, and Guillaume, please don't take this the wrong way, but there's a glitch in the matrix here, and he has the Canadian Tire that he was a sales rep. So
Mhm.
you can say that there's some value if he was looking for a sales job. I have some sales experience, but everything else is web, retail sales, web, right?
Yeah.
So just be conscious of streamlining it and how that comes across. And you know, the reality is that oftentimes I tell people I wouldn't have that in your profile, and you're like, yeah, but I worked there. But when I want someone to look at my experience, I want it to be in one encapsulating moment, right?
That's a great point. That's a great point. Because if you have web, and then you start talking about when you worked in you worked at Subway or something like that, and then you sold jeans. So I totally agree that any non-web jobs could probably be removed. How far back should you go, Nick? Should you go back as far as when you started doing, like, for example, in Guillaume's case, software development?
So I would start, yeah. If you're a software developer, I would start it at software development. I mean,
Okay.
when I was younger, I used to wait tables and bartend. That's not on there. Also, there's a lot of things I've done, including when I worked with you guys, that fell under kind of a consulting area for me. So instead of breaking that down into 5 pieces, it's just, I was a consultant. Even though I wasn't consulting, I worked for you guys. There's no question about that. But when I need people to look at what they're getting, and then here's what's interesting: you have no idea how often development comes up in conversations I have, because as soon as someone says something about PHP or web development, it triggers things for me, and then I'll go into, well, actually, with this great company in Montreal called Simply PHP.
I think, sorry to interrupt, Nick. I think also to reinforce that, if I don't see the sales representative stuff on Guillaume's resume on his LinkedIn, I think he's been in web development all his life. It's
Right.
just an association I have, right? Whereas if I had that big Canadian Tire sales representative, I'm like, okay, he only started coding in 2016.
Yeah. And it's nothing against, I want to be super clear. It's nothing against that he worked at Canadian Tire. I mean, that's a great place to work. No, but they teach such a great chain. They teach you so much about process and about selling and about great customer
I'm
service.
actually going to shop at Canadian Tire after work today.
My friends in the US are like, what are they talking about? But that's my point, is that now, if he was looking for a business development role, and again, I said earlier, your profile needs to be fluid, right? So let's pull
Just
up
a quick
sorry,
update. Adrian just said, thanks for the feedback on my profile. I'm making changes now. And he changed his tagline, Senior Director of Information Technologies.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Isn't that so much better? Awesome, Adrian. You're very welcome, my man.
I had a quick question for you, Nick.
Yeah.
So, what if your experience in the field you're in? So, if you're in development, or in my case, I'm in content creation. I was in sales for 5 or 6 years before that. So, obviously, that takes up majority of my time working versus my space in content creation. Would you still recommend that I take out that experience and focus only on what I do now, or would you say keep that?
So here's what I'll tell you about that. And I want to stress again, I said this earlier, I'm not an expert in this. I can only tell you what I see and how I react to it.
Which is very valuable to us, Nick. So we appreciate it.
But you are unique, and everyone's unique. But Kyler, I'll tell you why you're specifically unique on this, is that because you do content creation, you have so much opportunity to put so much content up on that. But if I'm not mistaken, Kyler, it's just because I know you a little bit, you created content for some pretty big companies before Simply PHP, right?
That's true, yeah.
So you have that flow of it, right? But I think what's interesting is, and I think I said this earlier. If I'm repeating myself, I apologize. But okay, there was a meme that was super popular a few months ago, and it was 4 different pictures of you. It was your LinkedIn picture, your Facebook picture, your Instagram picture, and your Tinder profile picture. No, but it's how you're marketing yourself on the different platforms, right? Because on Facebook, my mom is seeing that. On Instagram, my friends are seeing that. On LinkedIn, my business connections are seeing that, right? So you need to think like a marketer. How do I want to position? That's actually a really funny meme. But how do I want to position myself in this particular space? And the reality is, Kyler, back to your example, I'd focus on content for you because that's what gets you in the door. Once you're in the door, you can pivot, right? And read the room and read what their needs are, their pain points are, and then adjust your experience accordingly.
All right. Thank you. Let's get back on development.
I would even put it like, if you're 12 or 13 years old, that you started taking VHS video of your family.
You know what?
You don't want to see
It's gotta
that.
be all about that, right?
He's joking, but you could do something like that, Kyler. Now I'm thinking as a marketer, wow, actually, do you have some old VHS tape? Can I say, from 19, I don't know, man, I don't even want to ask you what year you were born, Kyler, because I'm going to feel so old, but in
Go and ask him.
2004, vice president of household media creation, and
Yeah.
then a picture of you with an old video camera. So like
Mhm.
you can do clever things like that, right? Because at the end of the day, if I'm looking at it's a picture with some information.
Mhm.
How are you clever in this? How do you get someone to say, I want to have a meeting with this person, right?
Yeah. No, it's really valuable because I think a lot of our audience too members are younger as well, getting into the space of development. And so I want to ask like someone who's still early in my content creation career, what they can do in development side to showcase. So that was a great answer. So thank you.
So, and let me even take that a step further because a lot of, believe it or not, when I put up that video, a lot of people, how there's the open to work profile picture now?
Yeah, that's new, right?
It is, right? And a lot of people reached out to me and they're like, Nick, I'm looking for work. Can you help me with my profile? And I'm like, how do I say no to you? Of course, I will carve out time. And the one thing, shoot, where was I going with this? It's so relevant.
You
Oh,
open the work tag there, the
yeah.
green.
So sorry. So when people are trying to re-career, right, or reposition themselves or transition to another career, a lot of times they're like, well, here's what I want to do, but here's what I've done. So where's the translation? Where's the bridge, right? And what I tell people is, and it's something I do myself, volunteer, right? If you don't have to put volunteer, you can just put whatever, I'm doing this here because A, you're getting the repetitions of whatever it is that you want to do. B, you walk into a place and you start showing them that you're talented. They'll be like, well, we kind of want to, I know we took this guy on for 2 hours or 4 hours a week for free, but at the end of the day, he's really good. I'm going to hire Guillaume now, right? So volunteering, and I talk to a lot of people. They're like, my time is worth X per hour. Or I started a business. My business is worth $900,000. I started 3 years ago. Why is it worth 900,000? Well, because I make $300,000 a year as an executive, and I put that time into this. It's not the way it works. So I'm always willing to give away time for free because giving away time for free is exposure. Now you don't want to be taken advantage of, but painting with a broad brush, giving away something for free, giving them a taste. So a lot of what I do is I break down sales presentations and I'll go and train a sales team, especially in technology actually. So I'll come back to this. Remind me to come back to technology and having an explainer video, Kyler, please. But I'll go in and I'll watch someone's tape and I'll break down a 30-minute Zoom meeting. I'll give them the notes. I'll give them an explainer video of me breaking down the presentation. And they're like, in some people, they might be like, well, you just gave me the product for free. Well, I didn't. I showed you what I can do. It's like my GitHub account, right? I'm showing you how I can help you, if that makes sense.
It does, Nick. It does.
Should we continue with some more profiles, guys?
Yeah. Do we have anything in the comments, Kyler? Any questions? Or
Raf put up his hand
yeah.
for checking out his profile if you want to check out his.
I don't want to look at Raphael's. No, come on.
Rico had a question. How important are recommendations on LinkedIn?
Huge. And this is something I'm actively trying to improve myself just because I've never put focus on it. If you slide down to the bottom of Guillaume's profile here, I'm going to show you two things. One is, skills and endorsements and recommendations. So skills and endorsements, you can sort those and you want to have your top three things and you want to have people that you work with. So if Guillaume is good at HTML5, you want to talk to, hey, the 5 people you've done this with and say, do me a favor and just check that off for me, right? Because it shows you as a leader in the space. And then the recommendations are also very important. And, I'm not afraid to say to someone, hey, can you do me a favor? Just give me a quick recommendation and I'll do the same thing back, right?
You know what I'd like to say about recommendations, and Guillaume again gets it, is that I would rather give them. I think it says a lot about a person who has a lot of given recommendations. So you see Guillaume as 1 to 4. I look at that as a very positive thing because it just means that Guillaume took the time to call someone out, to give back to that person, and that's awesome. Guillaume, are you going to come work for us or what? What's the story here?
Yeah, seriously, Guillaume. Poor Guillaume, if he's listening to this and he's like, they've been talking about me for 10 minutes.
Yeah, get me off the screen.
Well, he says thank you so much, guys, for the advice.
Awesome. Can you put Rico? Do you have anyone else?
I do, and I think it'd be a good profile to look at.
Okay, cool.
And then we can put up Rico.
Just while you're pulling this up, let me just say something about, how you market yourself. And this, I think, applies a lot to technology, Tony, because you and I, years ago, Tony, kind of crafted up what the business development message was for Simply PHP, what your unique selling, proposition was versus competitors. And I find when it comes to technology, and it's what I said, right? I'll deal with an owner of a company who's a technologist, like Raf in your company, and be his whisperer of what he has. And a lot of what I do is because I do a ton with video. I work with a lot of development companies and software as a service companies, and I take them and what's your explainer video, right? And there's something that blows my mind. Almost every tech company or every software as a service company doesn't have an explainer video. There is no industry that needs an explainer video more than a technology company or a SaaS company, right? Or if they do an explainer video, it's like with animations. I need to see someone, right? And if it's not Raf, if I can't put Raf in front of a camera, but I could with you, Raf, because you're so pretty. But if I can't put Raf,
and muscular.
What?
And muscular.
And
sorry,
yeah.
Go on.
No, I was just saying that if I can't put him, then you get someone like
me.
me.
You can cut that part out. Sorry, go ahead.
But you get someone like me, or you get the business development guy on your team, or a friend even. But you got to have a really strong, what's your hook, what's the story, and then what's your offer, right? And technology companies, I find really miss the mark on that. I'm very general comment, but it's definitely.
I agree 100%, Nick. I often go to, as you know, I'm the front line of sales here, and I often go on to companies' websites, and it takes me a while before I figure out what they do. Right. So it's super important. I guess it translates to LinkedIn as well, like you said at the beginning. Okay, Kyler, who we got next?
Hey, just one thing. Guillaume, let's code the world of tomorrow together. No one's allowed to steal that, okay? That's
trademark. Here's our next profile that we will be reviewing from request.
All right, Simran, how you doing?
Okay, so I'm going to go in a little bit of a different direction, just with using LinkedIn in general here. So first off, Simran, senior software developer, perfect. I know what you are right away, but I don't have a picture of you. I don't have a background picture. I've got 55 connections. So what that tells me, Simran, is that you haven't taken the time yet, or let me rephrase, you're in the early stage of kind of developing your LinkedIn network, but it is so critical. And you want to connect with people who are in your field for a lot of reasons. One, there's really good content out there, which leads to discussions. Discussions leads to opportunities, right? So
I can go out on a limb, Simran, and tell you right away that if I come up and I'm looking to hire and I come across a profile like yours, I'm probably not going to move forward just because I got to see a photo. Now, I don't know if he has his settings, because there's settings on LinkedIn that hide your profile picture unless you're a first degree connection. I'm not sure if that's the case, but if it is, you should try and disable that privacy setting, because look, it's 2020, right? We shouldn't be concerned about sharing our photos on LinkedIn.
So actually, this is interesting. His message icon is locked. I have never seen that before. So that must be something that he's set up. And Simran, just because you asked us to go through it, please don't take this as any criticism. I look at this as just, maybe if we talk a little bit more about LinkedIn, you could really take advantage of the opportunity. Do me a favor, next to the message, Kyler, click more. And then actually click connect. Simran, we're going to try and connect to you. Okay, stop. Okay, so you don't have to connect to him, but sometimes people also have a gate there where it's please put in my email. So we have to know them. And one of my favorite people in the world is this huge networker named Frank Agan, and I love Frank. He has been so inspirational to me. Um, but one of the things with Frank is if someone just connects him and they don't know him, he won't accept it. And I respect that. I get that. But for me, I want to get out and network, and I want to amplify what I'm doing, and I want to read what people are doing. I want to understand what's going out there. You can close that box now, Kyler. Um, but I'll put it to you this way. LinkedIn isn't social media. It is by definition, but it isn't. To me, social media is Facebook and Snapchat and TikTok. That's social media. This is business development media, right? Whether you're looking for a job, you're hiring people, or you're consulting.
Yeah,
So go ahead.
can you just scroll? Can you look at his about? Because I think his about looks pretty good. Because I just want to stay on Simran here for a second. Nick, how is his about doing?
So again, the keywords, and again, this is for the 9,000 followers you guys have, being very specific on technology, PHP, WordPress, application programming interfaces, HTML. So the keywords are in there. But then here's another thing that's interesting, right? And if I'm looking at someone, let's say I'm looking at Kyler's profile because I'm looking for a content creator, and I'm looking under activity. So there's a little bit of activity there, but it's minimal, and it's yes, you can view mine too. Well, I guess it's because of this. So sorry, Simran. But if I'm hiring someone that's going to be in a role that's either going to be some sort of thought leadership or some sort of business development, or I want to see that they have people that they interact with, right? I want to understand that in the business community, they know people, they interact with people, because if I'm hiring for those types of positions, that's what I need, right?
Yeah.
Like I need to know if I'm looking for a content creator that Kyler is a thought leader in content creation and interacts on his own time with people because he's interested. And it's especially true for developers, right? Because what's the new code? What's the new, I'm going to say all kinds of wrong words, framework? What's the new stack? I don't even know. But how do I know that you're current on those things, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. Can you scroll down to his experience? Experience, education. All right, education. Keep going down.
So to summarize Simran's LinkedIn, what I'll say is he's at the beginning stages, but he's here and we're having the conversation because he wants to keep moving, right? So I want to be really clear. There's nothing wrong with the profile. It's just the more you add to it and the more you have a strategy for how you build it out, the more opportunities are going to present themselves. And at the end of the day, sorry, Tony, but this is really important. I create content and put it on the internet, not for likes and comments, because I want people looking at my profile. I want them coming to my profile because then I'm going to have a conversation and I'm going to get a meeting out of it.
Nice. So definitely, add a profile picture, add a cover picture, join some PHP groups, join some technology groups, and showcase them on your profile, Nick. I think that's, and unlock the, I don't know, you go into your privacy settings and start opening stuff up, right? Open it up.
And we're giving you kind of like a notes or Cliff Notes version, but Simran, there's tons of YouTube videos on how to do this yourself and really get into it if it's something that you want to do. But again, to me, there's nothing more important than I do for business. The two key things I do is work on my LinkedIn profile, be active on LinkedIn, and then create content. So
nice.
How are you guys feeling? We are almost an hour in. I just want to take a pulse check on both of you.
Yeah, let's do another one. Let's see what we do after another one.
All right.
Cool. Thanks, Nick. That's awesome, buddy.
Oh, are you kidding? I cleared off my afternoon for you guys.
Oh, did you? Awesome. Oh, Bernard. Where is he? In Canada. Senior software engineer at Longbridge Technologies.
Okay, so Bernard, couple things. Senior software engineer, perfect. Again, I know exactly what you are. You got your education. His message is locked too. Maybe that's a new thing and I just didn't pick up. But I like what he did with the background picture, right? The background picture it's maybe not the perfect thing, but what am I absorbing? Well, he's in technology and he's got his Mac open, and I can tell it's a Mac because of the bar at the bottom, and I can, and I see, oh, he's got GitHub open, and he's, so that's good.
Nice.
But Bernard, I would definitely also put where you are located in Canada, and the reason is that if you're in Halifax, I'm going to have a different opening conversation with you than if you're in Toronto. And if you're in Lethbridge, Alberta, I'm going to have a different conversation with you than if you're in Halifax. So it's really important. I'm telling you, the dialogue about places and where you're from is really important, because everything comes down to building rapport. And I'm going to make a broad statement, and please don't get upset with me, anyone, but a lot of people that I've met in technology are introverts, right? But if you're looking for a job or you're looking to consult, there has to be some level of you being an extrovert, and it can be just displayed in your profile. So in the about section, not huge stuff, but I see Java, PHP, Python, team lead, front-end developer, Android developer. I like the picture, Bernard. I would just maybe one with a bigger smile, and ideally you'd like ideally something like chest up, so big smile. And I'll give you an example, Bernard, about places and locations. I see that you went to the National Open University of Nigeria. My brother-in-law is actually from Nigeria. He's from Benin City. So if I saw a city there, like let's just say you were in Benin City, I'd be like, oh, my brother-in-law is from Benin City. And people from Nigeria look at me and they're like, you're kidding. I don't believe you. And I'm like, no, really. My brother-in-law, Malachi, is from Benin City. So I'm just giving an example of how that place is so, look, we don't think about it, but it's so important, right?
I love the picture. Because it's different, but yeah, a smile would definitely be a great addition to that photo. And you want to scroll down? Featured content. So he has some featured content. That's great.
That's a great. So look, has right there GitHub. Perfect. And forgive me, guys. It's been 10 years since I've talked about GitHub and Ruby on Rails. But right there, 33 repositories available. Follow their code on GitHub. That's what you want, right? I mean, is that what you want, Tony? If you're looking for a PHP developer,
that is totally what I want. That is totally what I want.
Who does the hiring for developers? You or Raf?
Actually, our Vibe manager slash HR manager, Steve. Steve does it. I'm part of the interview process. So what happens is Steve will reach out initially. So Steve is the first person to see your LinkedIn profile. He has a conversation with you. Then we have a technical lead have a conversation with you. And then if you pass those two steps, then you have a quick 15-minute conversation with me. But I always go to LinkedIn right away. It's the first thing I do. When Steve says, hey, Tony, you got a call with Bernard tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Where's his LinkedIn? It's the first thing I'm doing. I'm just checking. I don't go anywhere else. I don't care what you do on Facebook. I don't care what you do on Twitter. Just show me what you got on LinkedIn. So it's super important.
Yeah. So the GitHub is great. What else does he have here?
By
the way, that's what I love about technology companies. It's not a HR manager, it's a vibe manager.
Vibe manager, yeah. Well, you know what? Since he's been here a little over a year. I'm telling you, he's really changed the culture. He's changed the vibe. Vibe manager was a perfect title for him, and we gave him that title on day one, and he earned it.
I met him, and he's like, I didn't know who he was. He's like, oh, you're visiting from out of town? I have some really nice gin. Would you like some? That's the kind of culture I want.
Yeah, he's great. He's great.
Next profile, guys.
Wait, no, can we scroll down a little bit?
Of course.
Contract developer, CTO.
Okay, but here's what's interesting, Tony. What is interesting about that there to you?
Well, he was a CTO. Now he's a software engineer. It's a little bit.
Right, it's the track, right? The train go off the track, but then if I look deeper, and again, I got 15 seconds, I see that should be at the top because it's still present, right? So if Clickdom Technologies, let's just say it's his own company, just for argument's sake, Bernard, and you're the CTO of that, which you should be, that should be the top thing that you have listed. then the senior software engineer, because you can have multiple jobs. And this is where it gets confusing for people. So let's take technology aside. I deal with a lot of people who have one company, but then maybe a job, maybe a side hustle. How does that all line up, right? You want to have a flow to your titles, to everything. It should all be logical, and everything has a place, right?
I might add though, that personally I would probably remove CTO. If Bernard is a senior software engineer, and if he's looking for a development job, if he's looking for a lead development job or a senior software engineer job, CTO, I'm not sure it belongs there. Just because when I'm talking to a CTO, a CTO doesn't normally do a 180 and start sitting in the development chair again. Now I'm not sure if this is the case for Bernard, and I'll say like you, it's possible he was the owner of that company. But to be honest with you, I would probably think of removing it unless I'm looking for a CTO position, right?
And that's it. But the other thing too, so the other glitch in the matrix here is that the Cleatum Technologies doesn't have a company page set up. Otherwise, the logo would appear, right? So you're in essence devaluing a little bit as you try and sell yourself, Bernard. You're devaluing a little bit, what you're doing because of that. So just scroll down, Kyler. Let me just see if he has. So licenses and certification. That's important for technology.
Sweet. By the way, let me go out and say, if you can get certified in anything, please do.
Yeah, 100%. And then again,
even though developers will say, I don't care if that guy's certified, I'm better than him. Yes, it's true. Being certified doesn't mean that you're the best developer on the block in that specific language. But for, again, the C-level executives, the non-technical business owners that are looking to hire you, we're impressed by that.
Yeah. And then here's a perfect example. So skills and endorsement, he's got 443, right? And then he doesn't have any recommendations given or received. So if we looked at Samrin's LinkedIn profile earlier, let's say he was at level, stage 1, Bernard's at stage 3, but he can keep, adding to that to become more influential in the space. And again, I've said this 4 times, but in sales, you want to say something really important at least 8 times so people remember it. Your profile needs to be fluid. If you're looking for a job, it serves a different purpose than if you're building a business, or if you're consulting, or if you're coaching, or whatever it is.
Oh, he follows Gary Vee. Scroll down a little bit. Okay, cool. Scroll up. Did I see any groups? So groups are a nice telltale sign as well. It's nice, if you're part of, and it literally takes you 5 minutes to join a group, right? So.
Can we do one more real fast? I got a couple more minutes. You mind, Tony?
I'm good. And I'll just remind you, I'm going to set up, because I'm having another live tomorrow with one of our developers, and I want to just mention what the subject matter is, in case anyone that's watching today, wants to tune in again. It's another developer-centric, live.
Got it. Okay, so Elomina, great picture, man. Smile, I like it.
Yeah, love it.
You're in the street. Ideally, you'd be like a little bit more dressed up, but you look genuine. You look authentic. You look like a happy-go-lucky guy. And if I'm hiring, that's what I want. But you'd want to have, again, that background picture. In his about, again, everything's there. AWS developer. Oh, he's got a lot. Okay.
Oh, he doesn't have what do you call that sentence again?
The headline, he does, back-end developer at CrowdEvest.
Oh, I'm sorry. Cool.
Okay. So all the keywords are in there, right? I'm not even going to go through them because I'll just sound like but again, CSS, JavaScript, Node.js, man, I'm going back 10 years. But, all that's in there, because also when people are just searching, there is value to the keyword. So as much as you want to be very simple in the headline, whatever keywords are critical to what you do, you want to have in the about section, right?
Can we say that, because I love that he's certified and he calls it out right away in the about section. Can we have that in the sentence, like instead of backend developer, certified?
So he actually just had a comment, and he just asked a question. If you don't don't mind me asking it.
Yeah,
Said, guys, I just got offered the position as the head of technology at my current workplace. I'll appreciate a quick word about mine before I update it. That was his what he wrote.
Okay, cool.
Well, so far it's pretty darn good, man. You know, like I said, I would, the background image is key. People don't realize that. Even if it's just a picture. So again, he's in Nigeria. Even if it's like a free picture online of, you know, Lagos or, you know, wherever he's from, or again, something pertaining to technology, show me, you know, a bunch of, what are they called? The stacks of,
What about certification logos? Again, I love the certification angle. So
well, I think what's interesting here is that, Tony, you might be the last line of defense, but you're interviewing these guys, and you've said that 5 or 6 times. I love certifications, and you get excited, right? It's easy to see your body. I'm excited when I'm doing this. So, for sure, there is absolutely value in that, and I'm learning from you as the hiring manager.
what is the new position that he got, Kyler? Can you say that again?
Head of technology.
Head of technology. Yeah.
That's gonna look.
Now I want to do. Now I want to find out about Crowdy Best because I want to go hang out with my buddy Elomina.
That's even better.
Okay, so Crowdy Best is Nigeria's first crowdfunding fintech focused on providing impact. Yeah, this is good. This is good. So backend developer. Keep scrolling, buddy.
So we do add different positions. So now he just got promoted, right? So
Yeah.
he's going to put a full stop on backend developer, right? And he's only there for 5 months. And then he's going to put his new position that's going to piggyback over it and update his profile line, right?
His headline. Yeah, you're 100% right.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is, and I like how he's putting, so I hadn't heard of CrowdInvest before, but now I know what it is, right? So it's also, that's relevant to me because now I understand it's about crowdfunding and fintech, and, you know, that's super interesting to me. You know, then he's got the backend developer consultant for PrimoPro, which is Nigeria's first digital energy trading platform. These are interesting things, right? So if I'm hiring him for a fintech company, I understand he already has some history with financial technology. You know, that's a big boost, right? But you know what I keep thinking about every time I look at this profile? You know, the one thing I keep thinking about is great picture and that smile, right? We're scrolling down and in my head, that's what I'm thinking. And from Guillaume before, I'm thinking of Guillaume in that cool black suit with the red bow tie, right?
Yeah.
That's how much it's influenced me, right?
That's awesome.
So he's got his certifications, he's got his education. The smart guy.
See, scroll up to certifications again.
You want to hire him, Tony?
Development, license certification. Yeah, I love it. Show more. Potential. AWS program dev chapters. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I just love it. So for me, for my background photo, I would have something like that. You know, get some logos. Get one of your buddies that can do a nice Photoshop.
Go on Fiverr if you don't have a buddy, you know.
Yeah, Fiverr. What's important too, though, Nick, is that you do all of the work that we're saying, and then change your position. Then put your new company from like your new position in your company, because don't forget that normally, and we don't know when it happens, but LinkedIn will send out a notification to all your connections to say, hey, congratulate Elomina for his new position of director of blah, blah, blah.
And you want to be strategic about that. There's an on-off button for that, okay? So if I'm just working on it for a couple of days and I'm like, okay, by Sunday, I'm going to try and be all up to date, you want that button off. If you want people to know that you got the promotion, then you turn it on, then you add it, right? But I always have that off because even if there's been times where if I'm meeting a certain company, I might go in and change my headline a little bit, right? I don't want the world knowing that. I want them to, you know, just be that's what the standard is. So.
Yeah, gotcha.
And he's got more skills than most people. Like, so he got 24, 23, 21, you know, one recommendation in, one recommendation out. People don't think about that a lot, but these are important categories, guys, believe it or not. So
yeah, give out as many recommendations as you can, because that's another thing that I look at. If I see someone giving out a lot of recommendations and that has very few, that's an asset to me, because I think, well, this guy spends time shouting out his colleagues and doesn't spend time calling them and saying, hey, can you give me a recommendation? Can you give me a recommendation?
Yeah.
So to me, believe it or not, that's a lot. That means a lot to me.
Well, and there you got Tony's perspective. Anyway, guys, I hope this was helpful today. If any technologists out there need an explainer video, call me.
Thank you so much, Nick. And hey, we got to do like maybe if it's not next week, the week after, I want to talk to you about another one of your videos you put out about building rapport.
Yep.
Using LinkedIn again, right? So it's super important. And shout out to Kyler. Thank you, my man. You're putting this together. This is the first live via Zoom that we've done, so I really appreciate it. And tomorrow at noon Eastern time, I'm going to have one of our developers, and I'm going to be asking him, because he's our full-time employee, right? All of our developers are our full-time employees, and I'm going to ask him how he feels now being a full-time employee as a developer as opposed to being a freelancer in his past, because he has a lot of freelance experience. So I want to see how it's been and the advantages of actually being a full-time employee versus a freelancer. So let's tune in for that tomorrow at noon Eastern.
I might pop in and say hi.
Yeah, you should. If I see you there, I'll check out your LinkedIn profile.
Nick, thank you so much. I now have to go change my LinkedIn profile, so appreciate that.
We all do, man. That's what happened. I did the same thing. All right, bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate it. Now, do we stick around for a little while, Kyler, or do we log off?
Stick around just for a minute, but I'm going to end the live stream now. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Please comment, share, ask us any questions. We're happy to get to you as soon as we can. Thank you again. See ya.
Peace.